Hello, everyone. My name is Mitchell Bidart, and today I'm here presenting the importance of wilderness emergency management. The question that started all this was, what are the impacts of increasing outdoor recreation on emergency response teams, and how can recreators prepare to mitigate the negative impacts and achieve better outcomes? I started this project because I love the wilderness. I love everything about it. I love going outside and camping. I love backpacking. It is my true passion. But the wilderness is dangerous. It's a dangerous place that people can get hurt, and that is scary. That is a terrifying impact on us, on the people around us. And so how do we mitigate that? How do we be safer? I'm going to tell you a story about my grandmother. My grandmother who lives in Nevada. In Nevada, there are two areas I like to consider. There's the flatlands, which is just barren desert for miles, and there's the Sierra Nevada mountains. Sierra Nevada mountains are near Reno, and my grandmother does not live near Reno, but my dad does. So last summer when I went out to go facilitate my Link internship, she came down and watched me for a week. She made sure I didn't light the house on fire. So we decided to go hiking. My entire rest of my family's in Colorado, and it's just me and her. I, from Colorado, know how to hike. I know what shoes to wear. I know what backpack to bring for water. She, on the other hand, she hikes in mall shoes. She wears khakis. And so we start hiking. We go up on this kind of steep-ish area, much like the photo up here. And so as we're walking and walking, I turn around and I notice something. She's no longer behind me. Instead, she's tumbling head over heels down the side of a mountain. She slides about 30 to 40 feet down. She cracks her head, and blood coats the entirety of her face. And I'm sitting there thinking, I don't know what to do. Oh my God, did that just happen? There's no one around us. What do I do? So I run down to her. I try to help as much as I can until another hiker shows up. This hiker is more prepared than me. He has a medical bag. He is a paramedic. And he helps us. He saves the day. He turns our situation into a safer one. He helps us get down to the car. And so, I want to ask you, do you think you would know what to do in that situation? Because I didn't. I had no idea. That situation is terrifying. That situation is real. And because the real impacts of that situation are death, it's important to know this. This is why I wanted to do this presentation. This is why I studied this research, is to know how I can be a better hiker, how I can impact my community better. If you think that you know exactly what you do in that situation, I'm going to prove you wrong, Kyle. We're going to play a little game. I'm going to give you some scenarios, and you're going to raise up your hand when you think it's an emergency that needs to be called SARS, or you could self-rescue. So here's the first situation. It's the easiest. A hiker has developed an allergic reaction after being stung by a bee. Their arm is swollen, and you are several miles from the trailhead. What do you do? Who thinks emergency response is required? Raise your hand. Raise it high. Okay, who thinks self-rescue is required? Great, you would be right. Self-rescue in this situation would totally be manageable unless their allergic reaction worsened. unless it became an emergency that you couldn't handle. And delineating that fact is important. A solo backpacker has experienced severe chest pain and shortness of breath after hiking up a ledge. They're able to continue the rest of the way, and at the end of the trail is only a mile, and then they're in the front country. Who thinks emergency rescue is required? Who thinks self-rescue? Those of you who said self-rescue, you're wrong. An emergency rescue would be required in this situation. And knowing that fact can mean the difference between life and death. I have one last scenario for you. This scenario, a backpacker is tripped and stuck their hand out and broke their wrist. The injury is extremely painful, and the injury has started to swell. There's no bleeding, and they're about 7 miles from their last camp. Another 6 miles to their next, and 8 miles in total to the end of their trip. Who thinks emergency response is required? Raise your hand. Who thinks you don't need emergency response? You'd be right. You don't need emergency response. This is a manageable injury. What about my grandma? Think about her injury. Bleeding from her head, can you confidently say you would know what to do? This is an image of our Dean of Students, Dave Farkas. Dave is an experienced kayaker, backpacker, and hiker, and he helped run one of the last backpacking trips I went on. Dave is wearing a funny dress, strutting around camp, acting like a fool. He's doing this because he can. He's doing this because he is prepared for a situation that could go poorly. And he knows that even in a dress, he could save the day. He prepared, he mitigated. Here's a statistical chart showing the growth of recreation in the outdoors in the United States. The percentages is the total percent of people in the United States that hike, backpack, and camp. These percentages have been going up ever since the pandemic and have been continuously rising. The latest statistic I have is of 2023, 57.3%. That's 57.3% of the entire United States population that is recreating. That causes some issues. Yes, recreation is great. People getting outside is amazing. But you know what recreation also provides? More people, more injuries. More injuries equals more people wanting to call search and rescue. More people calling search and rescue takes away responders for more critical emergencies. Less responders for more critical emergencies equals more time for responders to get to patients, and patients who don't have enough time decline. Here's a survival rating chart explaining that in the backcountry, time is one of the most important and critical factors in survival. The rating starts at 90% and then slowly progresses down about 10 hours or so. You start at 90% when you are severely injured. You go down to 80% in 6 hours. You can go further down in more response. And if you're expecting quick response times and helicopters, that's not what happens. Not entirely. Search and rescue teams have to go through many steps to get to you. And on average, it takes search and rescue 6 hours to get to a patient. This number does not account for the time and the cost that these search and rescues are facing. This number does not account for the rise in population of hikers. Search and rescue has to go through many steps to get to the point where they can rescue you. They first have to become aware that you are in need of rescue. They have to take the initial action to gather volunteers, because search and rescue is an entirely volunteer-based organization. They do not get government support or funding. They are often having to fund themselves entirely for their expeditions to come get you. Next, after the gathering of volunteers, they plan. They have to know what the injury is. How are they going to get to the injury? What are they going to treat when they get there? They have to conduct the operation when they get there, getting you out, changing their plan initially in the operations phase because a piece of critical information was missed. And finally, there is the conclusion. The conclusion states whether you get to go home, whether you are able to go to the hospital, or they are doing a body recovery. So what's the potential solution to all this? The potential solution is obvious, it's boring, and it's education. There are many outlets to become educated. There are formal companies like Knowles, Wilderness Education Association, and even our own Desert Mountain Medicine, which is in Colorado. It's a company ran in Colorado and is helping our students in this building get their wilderness first responders. Formal education is amazing. You can get certified. You can learn in such vast settings. You can learn anything you want. You can ask the questions. But it does not subsidize the cost. The cost of search and rescue is extremely high. The cost of education is extremely high. So what's the other solution? Non-formal education. Being educated by people like Lapata County Search and Rescue, who have information on their website about how to be safe. They have 5 rules about know before you go, principles. And there's even a class at the rec center that you can take with Toph Black, a ranger, and with the police department in Durango, that teaches you how to be safe in the wilderness for completely free. These principles are the rule of right. Right place, right time, right people you're going with. Telling someone, it's boring, your mom tells you to do it every time you go out. She calls you right about when you're at the trailhead and asks you what you're doing, and you groan and moan, and I'm safe, Mom, but it works. Making a plan can be the difference between saving yourself and saving others when on the trip. More planning equals less risk. And finally, bringing the big 10 items. 10 items that you need to know before you go. I have these 10 items here with me today. This is a 25-pound pack. It's 25 liters. This weighs 8 pounds on me, having all the critical information and support that I would need to go on any type of trip. And lastly, and most important, communicating with search and rescue. Yes, you're going to get in danger, and if you do, there's going to be a situation that you can't control. So what are the critical factors of communicating with SAR? Your name, your location, the number of people involved, the nature of your call. Whether my grandmother had broken her arm or split her head is a very wide-ranging difference. Injuries, where they sustain them, safety measures taken, and the current plan. Are you hiking out with that person, or are you staying there waiting for someone? This is the last slide I'm going to show you. This slide is pretty important to me because it's all my own photos. All these photos are on trips that I've done with people that are more knowledgeable than me, but also doesn't make me a better person to recreate. It is my goal moving forward to be more confident in myself and to learn more and educate others to being safer in the backcountry. So So before I leave you all today, I want you to leave with one question in mind. Am I satisfied with the amount of knowledge I know if I were to be in an emergency? Thank you very much. I am Mitchell Bidart.